Good morning. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Laura, and we both have very deep roots at the Advent.
Woo-hoo!
I grew up there and got to be on staff for a while, and so did
I
Cameron.
was also on staff. I feel like maybe I grew up there, but technically I was adult when I started on staff.
But really deep roots and really incredible ways that the Advent is helping us and being a part of our ministry here in Quito, Ecuador, and all around the country of Ecuador.
Indeed. Thank you, Advent. And so thank you for also inviting us to be a part of this Lenten series. Today is Friday, March 11th, and the devotional for today is entitled Obedient to Love.
And the sort of takeaway or the beginning, it says, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, is sort of how the devotional starts out.
At the bottom, it asks some questions. How do we make it personal? How do we know that if we trust his will, he will make all things right? One of the questions at the bottom, actually two of them, can you think of a time when it was hard to listen to God's desire in your life? And can you think of a time when it was easy to hear God's voice? For me, those are actually the same time. And it was when God was calling me to full-time service here in Ecuador to be a missionary. Because that's not a word that I was comfortable with, or a vocation or a calling that I wanted to embrace. It was easy to hear God's voice because the call was very strong, and many of you were a part of it, and the church was a huge part of it. Laura was a huge part of it. Hearing God's voice was easy, but it was not easy. It was hard to listen to God's desire for my life in that, because I didn't really want to move to South America. I was having a blast in Spartanburg and really, really enjoyed what we got to do there, what I got to do there. But I would say that even though it was hard to listen to God calling me to do something outrageous and extravagant, in a not a normal sort of thing, calling me to come to South America, God has shown over and over again how it has benefited me and my life of getting to live out my faith, get to pour into hundreds and hundreds of students' lives here, students who are in desperate and difficult situations. And God used my background from North Carolina and South Carolina to be able to start a micro scholarship program here that through Education Equals Hope that it blesses hundreds and hundreds of people. So I think I can say that God's exact wording, God will make all things right if I surrender to his will. And that's my reflection on it. Laura?
And I would say God has a way of making himself known, whether it's easy or whether it's hard. I think those have different contexts, and it's not always easy to listen to the voice of God, but it is always right. And I think that God has a way of moving in our lives into places where he knows that he can work with us and make us new and make us who he desires us to be. And so even when it is hard and some of the logistics are hard, or either coming to Ecuador, or for me, as I've sort of taken on this process of doing ministry and art, and trying to paint again and make that part of my everyday life, those things are things that I want, but they're not always easy. And I feel like God gives me the strength in his all-knowingness to really make his voice be known, so that even when it's not easy, we know that we're still following God's path. And so I think that is huge as we look at our world right now, as we think of the difficulties that so many places are confronting, that are in conflict, and that God's voice is still in the midst of all of it. And it's not always easy, but he will always lead and guide us. And so that stuck out to me, sort of as at the end of this, of how are we called to love and serve? And God will teach us, each one of us, in our individual ways, how we can love and serve him, so that the world is a better place.
Thanks for being a part of our journey. Thanks for sending us out to serve here in Ecuador. Thanks for letting us represent the Advent in that. We're really excited that Advent has 2 teams coming this summer in June. Thank you for walking with us all these many years. Thank you for your obedience to his call in your life.
Yes.
We love you.
And continue to pray for the pilgrimage that will be here this summer, for us, for our ministries, and also for the Chicas team that will also be here this summer. Thank you for all you're doing and the way that you are lifting up this incredible church. We love you. Bye.